fellow limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How you doing on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? How are things going? Huh? Are you stepping into the new version of yourself where you get everything you want because you have no more limited beliefs? Is that what you're doing? Or are you still choosing to believe you have limits? How boring. Let's quit that shit. Basic bitch. If you need help figuring out what's going on between you and your manifestation, please feel free to email me at manifestingwithkimberly@gmail.com. All of my coaching options are in the drop box below. They're in the screens that just went by. I have TikTok. I have Instagram. I now have 2 channel memberships. The second channel membership, which is the hot seat / group coaching, starts officially February 24th, Friday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That time is, what's the word? Possibly temporary. We'll see. We're going to see how it works in with my schedule. And if not, we will shift it around. But no worries. It's going to be like that for a while. Okay. But, I just wanted to say that because I saw that some people said, that's kind of early for me. And I get it. But that was a flexible time that allows other countries to join. That's why I picked it. We'll see how it works. And we'll go from there. So don't panic, right? The 3D is never permanent. We know this by now, right? Okay. So don't look at my hair, all right? Why does it look like fucking George Washington again? This is better. You know what I'm saying? The George Washington hairdo had to go. It was driving me nuts. Like all I was doing was staring at the George Washington-ness. So let's deep in here. Let's dive in here. I'm recording this video because to anyone who has joined my new channel membership early, which in my defense, I have been waiting for YouTube to approve this membership way back in the beginnings of January, not thinking that they were going to finally approve it, which, by the way, they finally approved it on the day that I uploaded the video where I said they're doing it right now. It's going to happen. Maybe I didn't say right now. As soon as possible. Like really, really soon. It was that day for what it's worth. I didn't think they were going to freaking wait until now when the next week I'm on vacation or staycation. So, if you joined it early, and some of you have, you're going to not have a meeting to join until February 24th. So it's like missing sessions, and I'm aware of that. So because of that, even though it was not my fault, I put a posting up to channel members, to all the new channel members, that if you have anything specifically that you would like to ask me now, since you don't have a session until February 24th, to go ahead and leave it in the comments. So if you are someone that joined early, I put a posting, check the community tab from my channel, and the posting will be there. And go ahead, leave me a question, and I will go ahead and answer it. The idea was I was going to answer it in a short. However, if I feel your question needed a little bit more from me, I am doing this, okay? So this is for one of the newbies, okay? I believe your name's Charlotte. You had a very interesting question that I think is a question that probably a lot of people have. So I think it would be beneficial to make the video instead of just a short. So let me dive right in. So I was asked from Charlotte, I'm not going to read her word for word, but she's manifesting a specific person. And the idea is to, manifest this, I'm sure a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with this person. And, she's working on embodying the state of being in that relationship or being the version of yourself that has the relationship, which is just another fancy way of saying, who do you believe you are relative to love and relationships? Who are you believing you are in this moment? Okay. So when we're manifesting a specific person and you're in contact with them, okay, and they're showing up in a way that's not 100% what you're manifesting. So it's very common when that type of a thing is happening. So it's very, very normal to go into the thinking of, is there more limiting beliefs going on here? Is that why SP is not fully showing up the way I'm desiring? Should I dive in more? Should I be looking for more limiting beliefs? Or should I just stay on the journey, stay status quo, and work on embodying the state of having the relationship? And the answer, in my opinion, is not just a yes or a no or whatnot. I think there's a little more to it. So when we figure out that we are actually manifesting at all times, and we realize we have this beautiful ability within our imagination to create the world around us or choose the world around us, right? Because creation's finished. One of the first things that we should do is, all right, well, what's my desire? What do I want? So if you're manifesting a specific person that you have contact with and they're not showing up the way you want, the initial thing to do is, yes, why do I think that they're not fully showing up the way I'm desiring? Why is this? And is the way they're showing up something I've experienced in other relationships? So do I see a pattern? So in other words, yes, initially you are looking to see what limiting beliefs could be at play here. You know, if you've had a pattern of SPs or men, women, whatever, showing up in your life and not fully choosing you, and you've experienced that over and over and over, then yes, we want to look at that. So yes, initially we do look at what limiting beliefs could be at play in our 3D world. But if you feel that you've already did that, I've already looked, this is what I've determined because this is what I've experienced, and I'm choosing to now embody the state of no longer having those limited beliefs, right? So we'll use the feeling of not chosen or not feeling good enough. Or maybe you had a previous relationship with this person. So you've had a previous experience and maybe that experience wasn't that great. Maybe you didn't behave that great or vice versa. And now you're concerned that whatever happened in the past is going to be a reason why a specific person is not going to dive into the relationship with you. So if you're still thinking like that, let's say when you fall out of a state or fall out of being that new version of yourself, you want to see, number one, okay, that type of a thought is clearly me feeling not good enough. Meaning I've done something in my past that now I'm seeing myself as not being good enough to be chosen by my person because they're probably still holding that against me. We already know, and I'm sure you can already sense, okay, well, now I'm in a state that doesn't feel that favorable because those are the type of thoughts that are coming up. But every thought is not truth. Hence why we are to be the observers of our thoughts, right? We have choice of what we believe when thoughts come into our mind. We do have choice. We have just been conditioned to think we don't. We do. So would I suggest taking more time and looking to see if we have more limiting beliefs at play? My answer to that is, if you've already done that and you've been already embodying the state, and when you are in that state, you're not getting those kinds of thoughts, then I'm going to say no. Don't start looking for more things wrong with yourself. Ever. That's a cycle we never want to be in. We never want to think that there's something more wrong. There's something more wrong. Let me dig deeper. Let me dig deeper. Because you're going to find shit. And it keeps you in a cycle. But when you're choosing to be the version of yourself that does not have any more limiting beliefs around love and relationships, as well as not marinating in any limiting beliefs about that specific person, because that's who you're choosing you are now, right? When we're manifesting anyone, the idea is to take a look at who you think you are or who you believe you are around that category. So if you are thinking that SP is not going to choose you because of the past, not only do you have the option to revise that past, revise it, get rid of it with revision, so you have that option, but you want to start realizing that me thinking of that thought in itself is holding SP in a version of himself, and it's keeping you in a reality that you don't want to be in. So when we start worrying about the past, we just want to address, like, okay, no, that's me, old thinking. That's old Kim thinking. That's not who I am now. I am this new version. And yes, it's just a decision. So my advice to Charlotte in particular is keep embodying the state. And hopefully you're choosing a state where you believe you're chosen, desired, wanted, more than enough, a priority. You're experiencing the best love of your existence, a love of a lifetime. This is your forever person. And that this person of yours does not hold things over your head, is a forgiving person, is in love with you the same way you're in love with them. That's who you're choosing to be. Because let me explain why. We at our core are consciousness. Consciousness, that's who we are. For real. Consciousness. Another way of calling that, in my opinion, is the I amness, or God, or universe, whatever you choose, okay, whatever you believe in. I'm saying God, or the I am, which to me is the same freaking thing. That is consciousness. And consciousness is not limited. Consciousness is flawless. God is flawless. God has no limits. And if that's who you are at your core, right? Because we are all God having a human experience through us, through the concept of who we think we are. So I am Kimberly. God is having a human experience through the concept of Kimberly. But Kimberly chooses which version of herself she wants to be. So most of us, before we realize that we're manifesting, yes, my dog is snoring, by the way. She is snoring hardcore right next to me, okay? Before we realize that we're manifesting, we think that life just happens to us, and that's all due to our conditioning, right? So what we've been doing before you are woke to manifestation, you are at consciousness at your core no matter what, but you are stepping in, or you were stepping in to a version of yourself that accepted and believed the limits. Even if you weren't naturally thinking, I have a limited belief. I have a limited belief. But you just believed you were someone who was never going to be lucky in love, or you were never going to be financially successful, or you're just going to have to deal with having a miserable existence. That was you choosing to be limited. That was you making the choice to believe that you have limits. Now, that's not a place for you to start beating yourself up or feeling guilty about that, because you didn't even know you were manifesting. But now that you're awake, okay, this community, unfortunately, gives out a perception that you have to heal yourself. You have to fix your self-concept. And that is not true. That is a limitation. And that in itself is you accepting that you are limited. And I know that sounds too good to be true, right? What I'm saying sounds too easy, that you can just decide to be someone new. And yes, you can, because you already are that. So decide every morning when you wake up that you are the new version of yourself. It doesn't have limits around love, around relationships, or with that specific person. Don't worry about micromanaging the 3D while you're doing this. It is the repetition of you choosing to be the new version of yourself that is going to take care of the world around you, take care of the 3D around you. A mistake all of us make on our journey at some point is we see our 3D, and if something shows up that we don't think belongs on our journey, because it doesn't look like that means we're going to get what we want, like a solo vacation, or your SP showing up not fully saying I love you, or fully saying that yes, we're in a relationship. We logically look at that and say, well, it's not working. There must be something wrong still, or manifestation isn't working, or I'm never going to get what I want, or this person's just not changing. No, that is, our mistake of seeing a circumstance and making the assumption that that circumstance doesn't belong, and that circumstance means we can't get what we want. So we start wanting to fix that circumstance. No, that is us falling for the illusion again, falling back asleep. So if you are daily making the decision that you are your new self with no limits around love, around relationships, around your person, and you're just deciding that's who you are now, it's just another way of saying embodying the state. If you're doing that every day through repetition, your 3D will catch up and reflect who you believe you are. So keep doing that. Don't let the 3D tell you who you are. Your person will reflect the new version of self, which is you. Your person will. Don't panic. Don't assume, because it hasn't happened yet, that there's still something wrong. That thinking in itself is a problem. Okay? Now, hopefully that answered that for anybody else concerning themselves with, hey, I'm manifesting an SP and they're not changing. That's okay. They're probably waiting for you to change first. You know what I'm saying? Because in manifestation, it's only ever about self. Nothing to change but self. Yes? Nothing ever to change but self. We get sucked in trying to change SPs, trying to change circumstances. And yes, manifestation in itself is we're trying to get a different circumstance. I know that. But don't overthink it. It's just about you choosing to be the version of you who can believe that she or he can have her desires. And at first, yeah, you're probably not going to believe it. You're probably going to feel like it's too good to be true. There's no way this works. Through repetition, it will become more natural and you will notice the change within. I'm telling you from experience. So on that note, Charlotte, I hope this answered your question. To any other person manifesting a specific person, I hope this was helpful. Okay? And on that note, you're probably going to see me again tomorrow. Okay? Love you all. See you all soon.